What's going on, everyone? So, the upcoming I Know What You Did Last Summer is not going to be the last. There is confirmation through Production Weekly that I Know What You Did Last Summer is getting another sequel, and I'll never forget what you did last summer, which begs a ton of questions. And we'll definitely dive into those questions in this video. I do want to touch on one in particular, and are they going to do a cliffhanger? Does this mean I Know What You Did Last Summer is going to end on a cliffhanger because we're getting a sequel, right? Now, you could argue they've all kind of ended on a cliffhanger, right? Like, with the Hookman jumping through the mirror in the first one to dragging Julie under the bed in the second one, right? So, like, you can argue that they've always kind of ended on a cliffhanger, through Julie's nightmares and whatnot. So that could be a real possibility. It also begs the question, like, is Julie and Ray even going to carry over into the next film, right? Is Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., do they survive this film? Right? There are so many things that now that we know and have confirmation on a sequel, which, I mean, sequel to a sequel, but, you know, I think we all should have kind of expected it, right? It is one of those things where it's like, that's just where we're at as far as Hollywood goes, right? The intentions and the plan, like they make movies now with the intent, especially in the horror space, of making sequels and trilogies in particular, right? And if I'll never forget what you did last summer ends up having any type of remote success, then guess what? We're probably getting a third installment, so on and so forth. But to me, do they do something where this carries over into the next installment, right? Or is it something where we get a conclusive ending? You get one of those, like, kind of neatly wrapped in a bow. Here you go, finished, and then the new next installment will be its own thing and kind of tell its own story, and or is it something where the killer survives at the end, right? Maybe the killer goes and takes somebody out that we thought was going to survive, and ultimately they don't survive, and so we know, oh, the killer's alive, they're coming back for more, this was just the beginning, right? Do they do something where there's another killer, right? Like, and the hook man that we thought was working alone is not really working alone, and another one's kind of just waiting in the shadows, waiting, to see if this one fails. Okay, this one failed, boom, here's my moment to shine, here's my opportunity to step up, take these people out, right? Let me make sure that this gets done the right way, right? Like, the whole Thanos grabbing the glass, I'll do it myself type thing, right? So, you could go that route where you have kind of a reveal of like another killer, or the killer survives at the end, right? Because, like, it's basically what we got with the first two sequels, right? You had I Know What You Did Last Summer. At the end of I Know What You Did Last Summer, it was like, okay, he's not dead. He lost his hand, but he's not dead, because he didn't find a body. That's the key. When you don't find the body, then they're never really dead, right? And then, you fast forward to I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and we knew Ben Willis was back, right? Like, I mean, they didn't hide it at all. Like, that was part of like the marketing and everything like that Ben Willis is back, right? The big twist in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer was Ben Willis's son, right? Will Benson get it? Huh? Right? Like, that was the whole thing. So we got the twist in, oh, there's a second killer. Oh, and the second killer is the son, right? So we got a father son doing the killings, right? Where he's like, oh, hi, dad, right? Like, and boom. So maybe we get something kind of similar where we get a setup, and they don't try to hide who the killer is and that he survived or she survived, or they survived, right? If there's multiple killers, if there's five, I don't know, right? Like, there's so much potential for this upcoming installment, right? The other route would be something just simple, right? Keep it simple, where it's like, okay, here is just the note, right? Here, you think it's over, right? That's kind of what they teased with, Julie, and, in the first one, where there's a card sitting there waiting for her. She opens it up thinking like, oh no, it's that, right? It's the killer, he's still alive, and then it is like, what was it, an announcement to like a party or something like a frat party or whatever, right? And then ultimately she sees it in the mirror, and then boom, right, jumps through the mirror. But what if they did something where it's just straightforward, simple, don't get crazy, don't get carried away, you think it's over, you think everything's done, and then the new main character, or maybe Julie or somebody ends up getting the note saying that I'll never forget what you did last summer. And then there's your kind of like, nod to the upcoming film. And then that'll also be the title of the upcoming film. So you kind of get you get a cliffhanger, but you also get a teaser to what is to come for the next installment, how they're going to approach the next installment. Right? Now, look, at the end of the day, it's got to be a good movie. As long as it's a great movie and it does what it's supposed to do, and it you know, is it I mean, every movie, you hear the whole cash grab thing, right? Like every movie is made to make money. So every movie to an extent is a cash grab. It's just depends on to what level, right? Like, is it just a blatant like, oh, you only made this and threw the name on just to make money? Or is it something where like, okay, they actually gave a what? They actually tried and put an effort in and made an attempt to make this something. Right? As long as this is that, and it's like, okay, they are actively trying to make this something. They're developing the characters, they're telling a convincing story. You have a good just kind of premise and core that you're setting up and establishing into the next installment, right? Maybe bleed some of those things into that next installment, right? Now you're in good shape. I'm all for it. Right? Keep making the movies. If you can give me good quality films, then I'll never complain about that, right? Like whether it is, a sequel or a remake or whatever. If it's good, it's good. If it's a good movie, it's a good movie. Right? And so I just want to see this be good. I just want to see this film and this installment, you know, really kind of set the tone, and it's like, okay, cool. Now we know like this next installment is going to be just as good if not better, or maybe taken up a notch or whatever. Right? They're going with the same premise. Like I do have my concerns with this upcoming I Know What You Did Last Summer, because they are doing the exact same premise as the original, right? The plot is exactly the same. And, okay, fine. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I want to give it a fair shake and opportunity. But whenever you see a horror movie do something like that, it's always concerning, because it's just like, if I want to watch the original, I just go watch the original. Like, tell me a new story, do something different. But the ways that you can do things different is just some different creatives, such as ending on a cliffhanger that leads into the next installment. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Hey, Phil, what are your thoughts? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. Are you excited for another sequel, or are you kind of like, we'll see how it goes? How do you feel? I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.